Okay, so I just want to focus on Janice and Tony for this episode. In this episode, her stepdaughter gets pushed during a soccer game by another player, and Janice ends up beating the soccer mom up. Because she's related to Tony, this gets him all over the news, and he gets really pissed off about this. There's a lot of fantastic lines in this episode. I love this one where Janice says she would have killed her, and Tony says, I know. This is a really great scene with Janice and Sophia. When Janice tells Sophia to go to sleep, she says, what are you gonna do, punch me? She is scared of Janice, but she is also stepping up to her. She also says, you're not my mom. And I really do just love Janice's face during this scene, where she's also saying, hey, I'm here and I care, I try. Afterwards, Janice and Bobby have a scene where Bobby gives her the ultimatum of either dealing with her anger issues or they're not going to be a family anymore. The main things I want to focus on is her similarities to Tony in the situation. Tony's dealing with a divorce right now. He has lost his entire family because of his issues. I want to go back to that line Sophie had about Janice punching her. She will never hit her, but Tony has hit AJ tons of times already. Also, it only took 2 classes for Janice to understand her anger issues. During Tony's scene with Melfi in this episode, he still can't get over the fact that he doesn't blame his father for his issues. After Tony tells Melfi about Janice's outburst, she says, okay, let's talk about this soprano anger gene. And Tony says, I was waiting for her to come up. He is still embarrassed about mentioning his father being the one that started causing his issues. Now I want to go back again to the scene that Bobby had with Janice after she talked to Sophia. During this scene, he talks shit about her therapist, acknowledging that all they do is blame her father. That is a step that she is willing to make, but not Tony. I will acknowledge that Bobby says father instead of parents, but with what we've seen of Livia already, we can assume that Janice would have mentioned her, and on top of that, that just illustrates more that they understand the issues better, that Livia was manipulated. A few episodes ago in Camelot, Tony mentions the scene where his father abandoned his mom during a miscarriage. He mentions this is a turning point where she started to see him more like his father. During this episode session with Melfi says depression is rage turned inward. And after Janice's anger session, she explains it being like this weight is lifted off of her shoulders. And this is the face Tony gives us when she leaves. I'd argue there's some jealousy, depression, rage within this face, right? He is so angry that his sister could find an understanding within this, but not himself. And we see this in their last scene. After Janice has decided to get rid of all of her anger, Tony brings up Harpo, causing her to freak out and trying to attack him. And just look at the smile Tony gives after doing this. After seeing Janice even trying to change, right? Because you can really argue whether or not this change was real. But this is what he chooses to do. He still chooses to fuck with his sister and hurt her. I want to acknowledge all the Janice haters, right? We're not trying to excuse any of her actions, but we can't excuse Tony's either. On top of that, we've seen Janice take actual steps towards change in the exact same situation as Tony. I do want to acknowledge the argument that Tony can't change because of the world that he's in. In this episode's therapy session with Melfi, he mentions he's already something about his breakthrough from the very last episode about Tony B. On top of that, he mentions John Gotti's temper being the biggest thing that hurt him, which is something that's also hurting himself and he does not care to fix. Within 1 episode, we've seen Janice try to change more than Tony has this entire show. I'll talk about this episode more in the comments. Thank you.